Microphone check 212. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to It's the Bearded Man podcast with your favorite bearded man, Bobbay, episode 47. We out here. We in the building. How y'all doing? First off, let me just give a little shout out to Thanksgiving because this pod is actually dropping on Thanksgiving. Am I going to hell for dropping a podcast on a grateful day like this? Quite possibly. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But hey, if you're tuning in on Thanksgiving or if you're tuning in after Thanksgiving, let me just take a moment to express my gratitude for the Bearded Man followers, for the listeners of this podcast. I greatly appreciate you. And whether it is Thanksgiving or you're listening to it after Thanksgiving, I hope you've had a great time, hopefully connecting with family and friends given, this pandemic around this world right now. But I hope that you are taking a moment at some point to just stop, appreciate the people and the things in your life. And I hope it just was a great holiday. Which weirdly the timing didn't work out. I wanted to dive into hopefully for the last start of the month of November, I've been doing a daily gratitude morning journal. And I'm going to wrap that up at the end of the month and then I'll do a solo pod. So the next solo pod next week will be on that. But just such a uplift, just to give you guys a little taste, just a uplift in happiness. And it was weird because I was already planning on getting the gratitude tattooed on me on my thumb, and then I started doing the journaling, and I think this is going to be something that I implement into my life daily after I hit the 30 days. So all this to say, if it is Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. If it isn't, hey, happy Thanksgiving, and I greatly appreciate you guys and gals for tuning in. As you know, and as I always call it out, I actually record these podcasts on Monday. They drop on Thursdays. And so with it actually being November 23rd at this moment in time at the recording of this, I want to give a big shout out to my man, Dylan Reese, my fellow Content Crib roommate. It is his birthday, 28 years young, looking fantastic. And I hope he has a wonderful birthday. And I know he did because we got to spend some quality time together since we're all working from home. And I work right across from his room. So shout out to you, Dylan Reese, if you can hear me. Let's do this podcast. Let's get into it. Housekeeping, couple things. We'll dive into the episode. I hope you guys and gals are excited as I am. I get so freaking fired up about doing these podcasts. Just bump some Drizzy Drake God's Plan dancing into the mirror outside of my room like a weirdo, post it on the IG, you know what I'm saying, letting people know I'm getting hyped up for these podcasts because I treat every single podcast, every solo and every guest as if it's the best one. I try to bring a lot of energy. I try to just come at it full speed ahead because I want to deliver high quality content and I don't want to waste people's time. And I just want to do my best every single time. So that's why if you guys see me, bumping out, dancing in the mirror like a weirdo, it's actually because I'm hyping myself up. It's like my I literally call it pre-podcast hype for these podcasts. So that's why I do it. It's a little over the top, but hey, that's me. That's the Bearded Man. You're getting a lot of energy with me in the building. That's all I'm going to say. Review of the week. Okay, that's dope. I had this written down, and then I just realized it's not even on my thingamabob. So let me pull it up real quick. I want to give a shout out to Phillybuhl. Phillybuhl, I think is the name of the username on the iTunes podcast app. Shout out to Phillybuhl. He said, first off, subject of it, 5 stars. Love that. You know what I'm saying? If you guys and gals know my story, I used to be the greatest Uber driver in all the land. 5 stars in the podcast game, 5 stars in the Uber game. Let's go. He said 5 stars. Subject, killing it. And he said, been listening since the beginning of Purpose in the Youth. Still wear my Purpose in the Youth hat. 100 emoji. Love that. And then he says, great stories and advice from a regular guy who took the leap to LA. Shout out to you, my brother. Thank you for rocking with me since Purpose in the Youth. And the fact that you're still rocking the hat gets me fired up. I hope every time you rock that hat, you think of the Bearded Man. And I hope it just gives you energy and positivity. And I hope it, resembles possibilities of your life and whatever you're trying to chase after. So that's awesome that you have found me from the old podcast and you're here listening to It's the Bearded Man. Thank you to anyone that takes time to leave those reviews. I personally think that the podcast game is going to Spotify. That's just me. But hey, I need the reviews on iTunes because I recognize how important it is. So if you are listening on the iTunes podcast app and you get a chance, leave a review. I'll give you a shout out on the next episode. You'll be the review of the week. We're at 42. We're trying to be at 50 by episode 50, which means we got 3 eps to go, ladies and gentlemen. If we're not at episode 50, you're all in big trouble. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's step it up. Weekend recap, as we always do. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you guys are so thrilled. Like, oh, what's this guy got to talk about? His weekend recap. Don't care. I know. Friday night, I don't know if you guys and gals like movies. I'm a big movie guy. I watched Blade Runner 2049 with Ryan Gosling. Instantly sold. Ryan Gosling was in it. Dude's an absolute snack. I would kiss him on the lips if I had a chance. Yes, I said it, and I don't regret it, and I won't cut this out. But I was a little disappointed in the movie. Wasn't to my... I didn't enjoy it. And I'll give it a 2 out of 5 on the Bearded Man review. Some might argue differently. I probably screwed myself because I didn't realize there was an actual number 1 movie before Blade Runner 2049. So I screwed myself for sure. But Ryan Gosling, still just absolutely incredibly looking man. So I was sold on it. Saturday night, did a nice little 5-mile run with the Grand Running Club here in LA. If any of you guys and gals that listen to this podcast are in LA and you are looking to run and want to meet people, every Saturday we meet in Santa Monica at 8:45. You don't have to run any certain miles. Everyone goes at their own pace. It's more of a community than actually like a run club. Well, that's part of the gist. Everyone shows up, you run, and then it's a great way to meet people. So I would say that if you are interested in joining a running club and you're based in LA, shoot me a DM or come join us every Saturday. I'm not there almost every Saturday, but I try to be there at least once, twice a month if possible. But you set the miles, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles. And I pushed myself to do the 5 on this Saturday because your boy went off Friday night. Wingstop, got some Hawaiian wings, got some honey barbecue wings, got some loaded fries. My stomach was rumbling Saturday morning. Let me tell you, I whooped my ass because I did that to myself. I allow myself to cheat every once, twice, 2 meals a week. I went off Friday night. Went off. Anyway. So if you guys are interested, the Grand Running Club out of Santa Monica, incredible workout. Saturday night, what did we do? We didn't do too much. We kind of popped around to a couple different little parties, little gatherings, 6 feet social distancing outside, you know the works. But your boy was tucked in by 11 p.m. It was kind of nice. I weirdly enjoy when the nights don't really pan out till 2, 3 a.m. I like the nights of being tucked in by 11 p.m. I did a little reading, you know what I'm saying? Becoming an old, wise, bearded man. That's the direction I'm headed. I did finish this book called The Mastery of Love. If you're looking for a suggestion on a book, highly, highly recommend it. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz. I legit read this book within 72 hours. Not afraid to admit it. Got it in on Friday afternoon, and I read it and finished it yesterday. And an incredible book about relationships and self-love, and really just understanding that the only love you can control is the love for yourself. And you can't really control the love other people have for you to a certain extent. And it was very, very insightful, and this writer is incredibly well. I'm working on another book by him right now. But if you're looking for a great book, The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz, tell him the Bearded Man sent you when you check out at Amazon, even though they're not going to ask you, but just, give him a little Bearded Man. Thank you. But I've just been diving into a lot of books. And anytime I have 20 minutes to kill, or I'll watch a movie. Like yesterday, Sunday, I watched a movie, but then I kind of forced myself to do a little bit more reading recently. I've been finding good books, and that's the key. Huge book guy. I became a huge book guy, but I found the problem that I didn't why I didn't like reading was because I wasn't reading the right books. I really started to fall in love with some of these books that I've been reading. So now I'm working on some other books. Just open to any and all books. Big book guy. Last thing for housekeeping today, episode 46 of the podcast with Nikki Kremen came out. Oh, baby. Is this podcast good? 2 hour podcast. Without a doubt, one, I won't give it the number 1 spot because that seems a little, I know, how are you going to give that the number 1 spot? Why can't it be other podcasts? I will just say this. This is easily one of my favorite podcasts of the year. And quite possibly, definitely a very appreciative podcast of my entire career. We get into a lot of personal self-discovery and challenges Nikki's gone through. About 6 years ago, she just had this moment of like getting sober and realizing a lot of things about herself and seeking approval from other people. And we just dive right into it. We get right into it right off the rip at the beginning of the podcast. And she's also from Massachusetts. Love that. Shout out to Nikki if she hears this. She won't, but love that she's from Massachusetts. And I really suggest you guys and gals listen to this. I love that I've been getting more women onto the podcast versus my old project. So that's something that I'm really, I've been hitting up more women to get more women on the podcast. I think there's just trying to balance the project out more. But Nikki has one of the most beautiful minds and perspectives that I've ever come across. Just going to say it. Call me corny. Call me a cheese ball. I know my roommates would call me cheese ball or corny, whatever. I don't care. I will just say you guys and gals need to listen to this podcast. It is incredible. That's all I'm going to say. Episode 46, Nikki Kremen, mentor, speaker, mental health advocate, singer, yoga instructor. I mean, she's doing it all. Okay, enough of that. Today's topic, really excited to dive into this. The winning streak starts now. Right now. The winning streak is starting right now. This is inspired by my man Charlie Rocket at Charlie and IG. I met this man back in December of 2018. We did a podcast. And ever since then, I've been paying attention to him from afar. And this man is full of energy. He used to be 2 Chainz manager, turned into a Nike athlete, lost a lot of weight, and just pushes this winning streak motto, which I resonated with so heavily that I literally tattooed it on me on my right thigh or on my right leg above my knee. I talked about this on the most recent last week's solo podcast. But I went and got 5 tattoos. One of them I did the podcast on last week was 1% growth per day, and now I'm doing it on the second of the 5 tattoos that I got, which is, it says winning streak above my knee. And I love this because it's a reminder to create my own daily winning streak, which enables me to help keep a positive mindset throughout the day. I think that is something that I've been working on continuously, trying to get better at, is keeping that positive mindset throughout the day, no matter what comes up. Even if I hit a wall and I lose motivation, or there's a problem, I hit a speed bump, I'm always trying to keep that positive mindset and sharpening my mind. And that's something that I've been working on day in and day out for, the last couple of years, I would say, honestly. And I just realized the benefit of how that perspective of wearing that lens of seeing positivity always and looking for the positivity has become part of my life. And really just trying to, like I said, rewire my brain, count up the small daily wins, and seeing all the good that's happening in my daily life. Charlie really started this a couple years ago. He pushes this story of like, whenever he gets this cup of coffee from Starbucks every morning, that's the beginning of his winning streak. And it's really just about making an effort to consciously look for the good in your day-to-day, whether you talk to your mom on the phone that day, whether you work on a project that you have to get, tackle, whether it's crushing through 10 emails in your inbox, literally finding a win in every single action and thing that we do. And I think it's really important, and I think it's a good mindset, and that's why I literally tattooed this above my knee. So the winning streak starts now. We're diving into it today on the podcast. But before we do, as you guys and gals know, really appreciative if at all, at any moment in time during this podcast, you enjoy this podcast, please, all that I ask, screenshot this episode, post it to your IG story, tag me at Bobbay, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. Share it out and let the world know what you enjoyed about the podcast. I know I ask every week, and you're probably like, yo, Bearded Man, shut up, we get it. I know, but I gotta keep repeating it. So those that continue to share out every episode when you're listening to it, thank you. I love you, and I greatly appreciate you. And if you have not yet done so, do it for me today. Screenshot the episode, post it to your IG story, tag me at Bobbay, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. And we're gonna go this project from the ground up. But before we do, sip of that high quality water, and then we're getting right into it. I still can't believe this shit is free. Water is free. Don't get it. Don't understand. They should be charging a premium. Here we go. Create the winning streak daily. Super important. each day, each 24 hours is a battle, okay? Some days we're gonna feel like world champions. We're gonna wake up, we're gonna feel unstoppable, untouchable. You've had those days. I've had those days. Those are the days we really like, where we feel like, man, I can accomplish anything. You feel like you're on top of Everest every second of the day, and you feel untouchable. But then very quickly, it can even sometimes be the next day, we wake up and we don't feel the motivation to get out of bed. We see everything from a pessimistic lens, and we allow the thoughts in our mind to get to us. We just allow anything and everything to upset us. And that is not good. That just ruins the day, can ruin the week. It can ruin a lot of things, and especially if you have a big day ahead of you, a great opportunity, and you wake up with that pessimistic mindset and it just screws you up. You get anxious, you get overwhelmed, and then you just like, it can literally ruin an opportunity. Or even like if you feel shitty and you're out and about and you accidentally bump into somebody, you don't even think twice about it. It could have been somebody that could have changed your life. You could have changed their life, but because you're so caught up in your own thoughts and you're so negative, you don't even have time to assess this person. You just keep it moving. So the point of this podcast is not to convince you or mislead you to believe that every day will be great. It's impossible, I think. I could be wrong, but even as somebody, I can only speak from my experience, all right? I don't have all the answers. I got to remind you guys and gals, just because I have a great beard doesn't mean I got all the answers. Just it's full of a little bit of wisdom, but a little bit of nuggets, not the whole works. Every day we can do a lot of things to help us set up for those great days, but we have to understand that some days we are just not, it's not going to be our day. It just won't be our day. Something's not going to go right. But like I said, there are certain things that can set us up to carry that positive and winning momentum throughout each and every day. And so that's what I want to dive into today. I'm not here to say that if you follow what I'm about to dive into, that every day is going to be bliss, the sun's going to be shining, the birds are going to be chirping, the flowers are going to be blooming. Yes, they will be, hopefully too. But some days are going to be harder than others. If we incorporate this winning streak mindset into our daily lives, you're going to be able to jumpstart those days when you're really not feeling it. The winning streak is going to help you reprogram your mind and get you out of that funk. It's going to dig you out of that hole. And so I hope it helps. And there's only one way to find out. And we're going to dive into it right now, baby. So buckle up, get ready, let's ride. Okay. How does the bearded man keep his winning streak rolling? I'm glad you asked, because that's what I want to dive into. Number one, morning routines create momentum. This is super, super key. If you follow me on IG, you have probably seen me post. I've been posting this on social for the last couple of years, and you might be sick of it at this moment in time. But I always post this one quote: "You win the morning, you win the day." And you're probably like, "Why does this dude keep posting it? What's the deal?" That is literally, if I had to say like a slogan for the bearded man, that's it right there. You win the morning, you win the day. Let me just say this: it's not about what time you wake up. I'm not here to tell you that you need to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be successful. I don't care what time you wake up. I'm more curious about what are the first 1, 2, 3 hours of your day. What does that look like? So for me, I can only speak from my experience. Once again, I don't have all the answers. This is my own experience, okay? Me winning my morning helps me set up my day, right? So this allows me to jumpstart my day and create momentum for myself first. Very, very important, right? At the end of the day, we need to take care of ourselves first before we can worry about anybody else, any task, anything work-related, school-related, insert any other person or thing in your life. We got to win our day first before we can worry about anyone else. And so for the first 2.5, 3 hours of my day, I'm pretty selfish, but it's about me. It is all about me. I'm not checking texts. I'm not checking emails. You do see me post on social like these photos of like, you win the morning, you win the day. It's like me running, or it's like the pull-up bar, and you're like, sick, bro, we get it. I'm trying to push this energy and show people, the day-to-day of my life, I guess you could say. But I don't scroll on social media, check like my phone notice. I don't look at any of that for the first 2.5, 3 hours of my day. So just at a very high level, I've talked about this on previous podcasts. I think episode 2 was like morning routines. I can do a whole another morning routine and really dive into it. But at a very high level, I wake up, I sit up, I say, this is recent now, and I'll dive into this more on the gratitude podcast next week, but I now say out loud 10 things I'm grateful. Like it ends up being around 10. I'm not counting it out like 1, 2, 3. I'm not counting it out. But I actually, like when I sit up and I put my feet on the ground, I actually force myself to say, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for this bed. I'm grateful for this roof over my head. I'm grateful for my career. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful that I can move my body. I'm grateful for my family. I just think of things that are immediately wiring me to be grateful, right? Because sometimes we wake up, we're like, I gotta go work out. I don't want that thought. I want to immediately jumpstart my day within the first minutes. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. So I will say 8 to 10 things out loud. And now I'm like, all right, time to do this. So I'll do like an at-home calisthenics workout, which is just body weight, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. I'll do some type of workout like that. Usually take a run around the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Try to get in my morning miles. I'll get back. I'll shower. I'll meditate for 20 minutes. Recently upped it from 10 to 20. Game changer. And then after that, I'll have breakfast. I'll do my morning gratitude journal. And then depending on timing, I'll either read for like 20 or 30. If I'm rolling out a podcast, I'll start rolling out that content before I start my day with Liquid IV. So it kind of depends. But within that first 2.5, 3 hours of my day, it's about me, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I'm not checking social media. I'm not answering texts, emails, none of that. And why do I do that? Because I'm jump-starting my day. I'm creating the momentum. When you wake up, you're at that 0%. Your energy's real low. Unless it's like, there's some days we're really excited because we have a big day ahead of us. But very crucial on just the quote-unquote regular days or the days where it just feels like another day. This is the key. Creating the momentum for the day by your morning routines. I'm not saying you have to follow my morning routines, but I would challenge you. If you can fit in an hour of the first hour of your day for just yourself, whether you like to read, draw, paint, find things that kind of get the blood flowing / get you stimulated, get you excited for the day. Super, super crucial. That's what I'm about. I'm about winning my morning. Because if I can win my morning, it can prepare me for the rest of the day and help me carry that win throughout the rest of everything else that I'm doing. So protect your mornings at all costs. It will set the bar for the day. I challenge you, find the morning routines that work for you. It has taken me testing and trying different routines, but ultimately the morning routines create the momentum and will carry you throughout the rest of the day. Number 2, feed the brain the good stuff. In order to keep this winning streak going on the daily, feed the brain the good stuff, okay? Whether it's reading, listening to podcasts, or what I see in my IG timeline, I am very, very aware of what I'm consuming daily. What we consume is how we feel. And how we feel is how productive we are throughout the day. So I am very, 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 very careful on what I'm consuming because especially during the week where I really treat it like Monday through Friday, I try to crush through work and then work on podcasts. And I need the structure in order to get shit done. Like I always fire these podcasts up at 6, 10 o'clock at night on a Monday when I'm doing my solos. I need structure because I know where I'm supposed to be and when. And so similarly with like podcasts and feeding myself content that motivates me, I need it. So a lot of the time, books or podcast wise, it falls on the same categories during the week. Self-improvement, self-love, meditation, mindset, success stories. All this is fuel to the fire inside of me. I'm learning. I'm taking mental notes. And I'm trying to understand what other people have been through. I'm trying to take other strategies and like tactics and incorporate into my own life. And so that's really important. So books that I read, like I was talking about earlier, I'm reading books on self-love. I'm reading books on meditation. I'm just trying to get 1% smarter every single day, just a little bit smarter, looking for that one sentence that just changes the day for me or like it's like the light bulb moment. So all the books that I do read, I don't know if you guys and gals know this, but from time to time I get people to hit me up, yo, Bobbay, Bearded Man, what books do you recommend? If you head to my website, it's thebeardedman.com, scroll to the bottom where it says resources. All the books that I've read in the last 2 years that I suggest to other people are there. So if you want book recommendations or you want to see what I'm reading, I put all the books there with direct links to Amazon. So you can check out some of the books there. When it comes to podcasts, I try to share out some of the episodes that I listen to that motivate me or that have inspired me or I've learned something just, to give other people some context to what I'm listening to. But at least most recently, for sure, a lot of On Purpose with Jay Shetty, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Joe Rogan, of course, The Go. And then, we got the It's the Bearded Man podcast, but I don't listen to it because it's me and I already hear myself talking up. And yeah, but I hope this podcast platform is helping you guys and gals in some way, some shape or some form. But I preached about this before on recent podcasts and I've talked about it many and many times, but when it comes to feeding your brain the good stuff, whether it's podcast, books, what you're seeing on IG feed, think of it as the social media diet, right? If you eat good food, your body feels good. You feel good. You have a lot of energy. You're ready to go. If you eat a lot of shitty food, a lot of junk, a lot of sugar, you feel tired. You don't feel motivated. You feel just You feel the difference. Same thing when it comes to social media. What we consume on social media platforms for sure impacts the way that we feel on a daily basis. So for me, I follow a lot of creators, people that inspire me in some way, shape, or form. Examples would be like Jay Shetty for mindset, Nick Bare for fitness. He's a big YouTuber. Or maybe like I follow some meme accounts to add some humor in my daily. I'm big on consuming things that I'm learning and helping me grow. But of course, I'm a human, right? Like, I hope you guys can pick up in some of these podcasts, like, yes, this is somebody who's very self-improvement driven, who just wants to be the best version of themselves. But I'm also a cornball. I'm absolutely cheesy. I'm the first to admit it, and I am not afraid, baby. I'm authentically myself, and I love that. I love everything about myself, including this damn beard, baby. That's why it's called It's the Bearded Man podcast. Let's go. I am cooked. But here's what I'm trying to say. If I'm being fed content that makes me feel good, that inspires me, that picks me up, how should I expect to feel? Good, inspired, motivated. So when I'm seeing this type of content in my feed or I'm listening to it daily, I'm getting more fired up. I'm learning. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Just become smarter in every single aspect of my life. But if I'm feeding myself content that makes me fall for the comparison trap and wishing I was somebody else or puts me down or unmotivates me, how should I expect to feel? Why am I following these accounts? Why am I giving these people the time of day when there's so much good stuff out there? Out of sight, out of mind. Get the BS out. That is the punchline. Out of sight, out of mind, get the BS out. If it is not motivating you, or you're listening to something and you're starting to lose interest, or it's just not clicking, get it out. So much good stuff in this world. Feed the brain the good stuff. It is very, very, very important. How do we keep this winning streak going? How do we start the winning streak? You know the deal. That's what we're here to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. It's really important when you're trying to keep this winning streak mentality in your day-to-day, which is essentially, as a reminder, to just see the positivity in the day, to gravitate to things that positively uplift us, to not take things for granted, whether it's talking to your parents or whether it's, doing your day-to-day grind, which sometimes can feel like the same thing over and over. We're letting all this fuel us. We're letting all the good little wins throughout our day fuel us. Number 3 for how I keep my winning streak rolling. Reset back to this moment. Very, very important. Sometimes you got to reset back to the moment, okay? I'm a big reflection guy, as I'm sure you guys and gals can tell from listening to these podcasts. I'm also somebody that thinks about the future a lot. I think where I came from and to like how I got to who I am today, which is just incredibly inspiring for my own self, and I hope it's inspiring for you guys and gals to think back on your life and who you are today versus who you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. A year ago, I was driving Uber full time. No disrespect, but now looking at where I am today, I'm like, holy shit, Bobbay, keep it going, brother. Keep that foot on the gas. You could be anybody you want. And so I hope that's the same for you. Like, take a moment, stop, think about where you came from to who you are, right? Let that inspire you with the growth. But then also, it's thinking of what is down the road, aka the future. That also fires me up because of the possibilities, right? I'm not saying, and I've talked about this on previous podcasts, like, you don't have to have it all figured out, but just have an idea of what your true north looks like, what that big picture looks like. Okay? So it's good to think about the past. It's good to think about the future. But the problem is if we spend too much time thinking about where we were or where we want to go, how are we ever going to make progress right now? You're not actually living in the present moment. You're too caught up thinking about the future, or you're too caught up thinking about the past. Once again, it's good to stop and reset, spend a couple minutes thinking about the past or the future, get a little inspired for both where you came from and where you're going. But we still have to remember the work and the growth happens now. In this moment in time, this is how we grow. This is how we get better and stronger and smarter by this moment, this very moment, the only thing we can control. So what I do is I keep a running to-do list in my notes app at all times. Very, 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 very important. When I feel overwhelmed about the past or the future, and I'm like, my mind starts running a million miles an hour. It's like when you're on a treadmill and you crank it up to 10, and you can't even, you're like literally about to fall off. That can happen very easily. It's a domino effect. Our mind starts going crazy thinking about the past and the future, right? But sometimes we got to bring ourselves back to today. And so having this to-do list reminds you to go, okay, Bob, slow down. Let's bring it back in. Let's pull up the to-do list. And what are the things that I can do today? I understand that there will be no dramatic leaps of progress today. It's just not going to happen. But there can be small baby steps that set me up for some dramatic leap 6 months from now, right? So it can easily feel like the day-to-day grind, it's not really a lot of progress. It's not, picture perfect. It doesn't look great. But we know that if we keep doing this over time, it's going to grow. So me just recording this solo podcast, once again, I talked about it earlier. I do these pre-hype videos. I get fired up and I'm dancing in the mirror. I do this because I know this is the best thing that I can do in this moment. I can record this solo podcast to the best of my ability, bring all the energy, and hope that people enjoy it. And I'll do this again next Monday, the Monday after that. And so then all of a sudden it goes from one episode to 5 to 10 to now we're at 47. It's just like when you're present and you're in the moment and you're making the best of the very moment, you deliver at the highest level of your highest quality, and it helps you just continuously grow, and grow. What also has helped me reset back to the moment, and which I mentioned earlier, is meditating 20 minutes in the morning, right? So I recently amped it up from 10 to 20, game changer. And then for the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, maybe month now, 20 minutes at night. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I read in a book or heard on a podcast today, they said if you can't fit in 20 minutes of meditating in your day, you should shoot for 60 minutes, which is pretty much saying you need more stillness in your life. You need to slow down. If you don't think you can fit 20 minutes in your day, you should shoot for 60 because you need to slow things down. And yeah, I don't know. I can't quote who said that. I think it was a Jay Shetty podcast, of course. But what I love about it is that the morning meditation allows me to set good intention for the day. So I am observing my thoughts, right? I'm getting anxious thinking about all the things I have in front of me that day, but I'm sitting there at peace, just observing what's going on in my mind and what I have in front of me that day. And then also at night, it allows me to take a second to appreciate the progress that I made that day. Thinking about, wow, I recorded that podcast. I sent that email for Liquid IV. We have this new partnership launch, like blah, 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 blah. It allows me to slow down and just think about all the things that I did. So when I put both of those together, the morning meditation and the night meditation, I am unstoppable, baby. It has been so, so crucial. But like I was saying, the whole takeaway right here is we have to reset back to the moment. We can think about the past, get inspired about who we've become. We can think about the future and get fired up about who we want to become from moving forward. But at the end of the day, all we can control is this moment in time. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Keep that to-do list. Keep counting up those winning streaks, those daily things that you're doing on the daily, whether it's working out, sending those emails, or working on a project. Any little bit of progress, even if it's 0.01%, that's part of your winning streak. So count it up, and it's very important. Whew, okay, I need another sip of water. My golly, Bobby, can't stop. I love you, water. All right, cool. Number 4, in order to keep this winning streak going in our daily, right? Keep that momentum going. Seek the good in the day-to-day grind. This is very important. As I said before, each 24 hours is its own battle, right? It's kind of like a game. When I wake up and I'm like, okay, Time to attack the day ahead of me. Kind of goes back to what we were just talking about being present in the moment. Every day is its own battle, right? So I try to break it down and think about all the good things that are happening that I tend to easily take for granted. I'm trying to take note of it. That's how I keep this winning streak momentum going in my life. So instead of saying, I have to work out, I go, wow, I get to work out. I have the privilege to work out because my body is healthy. I am in control. I can move my body right now. My legs are kicking. I can move my toes. How fortunate am I? Instead of going, gotta start work at 9 a.m., I go, wow, I am so damn lucky I get to work from the comfort of my home and I have financial stability in a time like this. I am the most lucky man. I'm on a winning streak. There's times where people or myself could be like, gotta check in with the rents. Instead, I go, holy smokes, I get to call mom and dad today. I'm on a winning streak. Let's go. So it's trying to seek the good in the day-to-day. The stuff that we just take for granted, whether it's taking a shower, whether it's walking our dog, change the perspective in your mind. That's what I'm trying to do every single day. Just trying to rewire my brain to see the good, the positivity, the wins. Seek the good in the day-to-day grind. And it allows us to keep that winning streak going. Anytime I feel goodness, I say to myself, I'm on a winning streak, baby. I cannot and I will not be stopped. Seek the good in the day-to-day grind. It'll help you carry even more momentum into your day. You'll feel more positive about your day. And instead of just checking those daily tasks off that we do day to day, and it can feel like just, mailing it in, you'll feel more energized and you feel more appreciative for doing that thing, that task. Last part to keeping our winning streak going, keeping that momentum, that positivity throughout the day. This is really, these are all important, but this is really important and a skill we all need to learn. The power of no. If something doesn't completely excite you to say yes, say no. That's what I do. If something doesn't fire me up and I get goosebumps thinking about it and I'm so ready to say yes, I say no. Or I really think about, do I want to commit to this? This can easily kill the momentum of your day, without a doubt. You have a lot of good momentum going. You commit to that coffee date in the afternoon. You go. It throws you off. It feels like a waste of time. The person that hits you up to grab coffee ends up being for something else, and they're now just trying to use you to get to you for something else, blah, 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 blah. It throws off the day. And let me just say, it may not seem like a lot when you're saying yes to that random 30-minute coffee convo, and I'm all about paying it forward. I'm all about being a person of service. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of ourselves, right? Like I said earlier, you got to win the morning, your morning to win the day. We need to take care of ourselves in our week before we can worry about other people. So it might not seem like a big deal to say, yes, I'll grab coffee that 30-minute coffee with you at that coffee shop. But we don't even think about the time it takes us to get ready, to drive there, to park, to order the coffee, to have the conversation, to leave, to get home, to then try to restart ourselves back to that groove. That's an easy 1.5 hours gone. And so if we don't come back feeling motivated, fulfilled, inspired, uplifted from that coffee convo, we just ruined the momentum for the day. And we might not be able to jumpstart that momentum for the rest of the day. And it could ruin the next 3 hours, 4 hours, which might not seem like a lot in this moment of time. But if we say yes to more things across that week, that month, that year, that could literally add up to days of time being wasted to saying yes to things that we in reality should have said no. So what I think is really, really important is, one, ignore the pressure and guilt trip of what other people have to say. Do what makes sense to you. If it's not getting you excited, say no. Ignore FOMO, ignore what other people are going to say. Just say no. And the key, what I've learned to saying no, is how you communicate it. You don't just go, no, I don't feel like it, or no, that's a waste of my time. You kill them with kindness. You're gentle, you're respectful, and you're honest with people. So example, if there's something that you don't want to do, you go, hey, sorry, I can't commit to this right now. I have a lot of a lot of tasks on my plate at this moment in time that I need to focus on. I'm really sorry, but thank you so much for thinking of me, and I really appreciate it. If somebody gets mad at you because of the way you respond like that, because you're focusing on other things, do they really deserve your time in the first place? If it's a true friend or somebody that really respects you, they'll go, totally get it. They won't think twice. They won't overthink like they don't want to hang out with you or you don't want to hang out with them, or they just will get it, right? That's one thing I've learned. People are busy. It's okay. It's okay to say no, and you have to learn to say no and prioritize yourself. Otherwise, you're going to kill your momentum. If something doesn't excite me to say yes to, I say no, and I can feel bad. There was somebody that recently hit me up a couple weeks ago. Let's grab coffee sometime soon. Great person, I'm sure. Probably meant for the right intention, but I just know deep down inside, I need to focus on myself. I need to focus on work with Liquid IV. Then I need to focus on building this podcast project. And then I'm also trying to focus on building community in LA. And so if I commit to something that doesn't excite me, I'm literally reprioritizing the first three things that mean the most to me right now. And so I just get good at saying no. And if people take it personally and they judge me for it, then maybe we aren't supposed to meet in the first place, because I'm respectful of other people's time. And if people are busy, then I get it. So I would say the power of no is really important to controlling your momentum, controlling your winning streak. Very important. So to recap, how do we create the winning streak daily? The winning streak starts now, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, morning routines create that momentum. If we win our morning, we're going to win our day. So we need to find the things and tasks that help us jumpstart our day. Whether it's the first hour, second hour, or 3 hours, whatever you can allocate to you, do it. It doesn't matter what time you wake up. It's about what do you spend those first 1 to 2 to 3 hours of your day doing. Number two, feed the brain the good stuff. Be very aware of the books, the podcasts, the social media that you're consuming on a daily basis. If we're not feeding ourselves the good stuff, we are going to screw up our winning streak, our positive mindset and outlook on the day. Feed the brain the good stuff. Be very aware of what you're consuming. Number three, reset back to this moment. It's okay to think about the past. It's good to think about the future. But remember, the only progress we can control in this moment of time is right now. What we do in this very moment is on us. We have to actually utilize this time. So think about the past, think about the future, but come right back to the moment and think about what you can do by keeping that to-do list. Number four, seek the good in the day-to-day grind. It's not just, I have to work out. I got to start working on it. I got to check in with the rent. Look at all this as a privilege. Wow, I get to work out. Wow, I'm so damn lucky I get to work from the comfort of my home. Wow, I get to talk to my parents. All of that is adding to our winning streak. It's about changing the perspective on the things that we do daily that seem just over and over repetitive, and we're actually looking at it as a win. Fifth and final piece, the power of no. We have to get very good at saying no to things that don't excite us. If it doesn't excite us, it's not worth it, because it will screw up our momentum, it'll screw up our winning streak, and it will ruin us for the rest of the day. Take that day, multiply it by multiple times in the year. That adds up, and it ends up being a lot of time. So we need to control the winning streak. And that winning streak starts now. We control if we keep that momentum going, and there's things that we need to, push away from us so it doesn't screw up our momentum. Challenge for the listeners. If you made it this far, bless your soul. Assess what you do in your day-to-day that could be affecting your mindset. What can you change or add that would help carry more positivity and momentum through your day? Think about it. There's got to be certain things that maybe you do that might disrupt your mindset, whether it's you wake up and you look at your phone the first thing in the morning, whether it is you're consuming maybe not the best books that make you feel good about yourself, whether you're seeing somebody on your social media that you just don't need to see. Think about the things that you're doing in your day-to-day and how can you make changes that will give you more positivity and momentum throughout your day. That's my challenge for you guys and gals. Whoa, baby. We got 2 questions from the BMC, the Bearded Man community. My man, Brayden Figueroa, he said, Bobbay, I'd love to talk about I'd love you to talk about how to set yourself up for success in your day. And if you're having a shitty day, what can you do to flip that energy? Great question, Brayden. Set up success. We really dived into that today, so I hope that was, helpful. I don't want to re-approach that. So the morning routines, feeding your brain the right, the good stuff, blah, blah, blah. But great question to flip that energy. I think it is literally like a shifting gear, and we control at a snap of a finger, we can redirect our energy. So if you feel anxious and you feel overwhelmed and things aren't going the way you want it to go that day, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 11 a.m., whatever it might be, slow down, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out 10 times. It'll bring your emotions back down. Instead of your anxiety or like your thoughts running a million miles an hour, it's going to slow everything down. And then just think baby steps. Pull out your to-do list. Remind yourself of what you're focusing on today. What are the things that you need to get done today? And get back to work. Remind yourself also too, you can only control the controllables. You can't control if somebody missed their deadline. You can't control if somebody rear-ended you on the street and you're late to that meeting. You can only control the controllables. The one thing we always have control of is our mind. Our minds are the most important asset that we have. Do we see something as optimistic or do we see it as pessimistic? When things aren't going according to plan, instead of being reactive and resisting to whatever's happening, re-strategize. Pivot. Like, how do we adjust? How do we make a change? Because the more time we spend in that pessimistic, woe's me, boo-hoo, we're just hurting ourselves from making progress. So it's constantly being on your toes and adjusting on the fly. That's a great question, Brayden. Second and last question from Alex Valdez. He said, how do you motivate / stay disciplined? I summarized, he sent a pretty thoughtful DM, but to save time, I summarized it. And he essentially was asking, how do you motivate / stay disciplined when you are working towards something alone with no support since it's all on you? Talked about this last week. It's a great question, Alex. At the end of the day, you got to become your biggest hype man and your biggest hype woman. You have to be your number one supporter, especially in those early on stages when you're starting something new. It is on you. The responsibility is on you. I can only speak from my own experiences. So when I think back to like my old podcast, Purpose in Youth, when I was just getting into the podcast game, I'm now freaking 200 plus episodes. I know the rhythm. I know what I need to do. But when I was first starting off, it was hard. I was very fortunate. I had a couple friends around me that supported me and were creatives and, were there to assist me, but I still needed to show up. I needed to do the work, right? So whether you have a couple people that can support you, Alex, or you have nobody at all, it's just like what I do with these pre-hype videos before podcasts. You got to look yourself in the mirror. You got to be your biggest hype man. Use positive affirmations. I literally out loud like a crazy person before this podcast today. I'm like, let's get ready to rumble. I'm bumping freaking God's Plan by Drake. I'm like, Bobbay, you are the greatest bearded man. You are a great podcaster. You have a lot to learn. You have a lot to grow. But you're going to do the best podcast you can possibly record right now. You got this. And I'm like, just positive affirmations. So to summarize that all, Alex, you got to become your biggest hype man, hype woman. You got this, brother. I don't know what you're trying to work towards, but just get yourself fired up. Find music that gets you in that rhythm. Do some jumping jacks. Get the blood flowing. Bang out a couple push-ups. I banged out a couple push-ups before I did this podcast. Get the blood energy up. Get the blood flowing and up and get the energy up. But be your biggest hype man, hype woman. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. All that I ask, if you enjoyed this podcast, please screenshot this episode, post it to your IG story, tag me at Bobbay, B-O, 3 B's, 4 A's, and a Y. It would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. It's how we grow this project organically and helps me grow this Bearded Man content to the next level. I hope you guys and gals had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys and gals taking the time to listen to these podcasts. Share it out, tell a friend, whatever you're doing. I know that your time is precious, and I really, really do appreciate people that take the time to listen to these podcasts. So know that from the bottom of my bearded heart, I am so thankful for you guys and gals, and I'm so excited for some of the content we have working on behind the scenes and where this project has taken us. So thank you so much. And I hope this project just inspires you guys to keep doing your thing, whether you're laughing, you're smiling, crying, you're just like scratching your head wondering who the hell is this bearded guy think he is. I hope that this can provide you some place, some safe haven to give you inspiration, motivation, or allow you to just check out and get some entertainment. So thank you so much for tuning in, and shout out to Charlie Rocket if you ever hear this. Thank you for pushing your energy and your message of this winning streak. I want you guys and gals to leave this podcast today and start your winning streak right now. The winning streak starts now, ladies and gentlemen. Count up all the small wins in your day-to-day. Take all the things we sometimes take for granted, myself included. Start being appreciative of it, and just keep that winning streak momentum going. We will see you guys and gals soon enough. More content on the way. Have a great rest of your day, night, morning. Keep crushing it. It's your favorite bearded man, Bobbay. See you soon. See ya.